Hey y'all, welcome back to Play on Wheels. In today's video, we have a ton in store for you guys. We're gonna be working on brakes, suspension, kingpins, fuel system, and just a ton more to get this old 50 Ford back on the road after so many years with full custom EFI, a turbo, and much, much more. You're gonna wanna stick around. Go ahead and do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button because I'm telling you, after this video, you're gonna wanna see more, so you might as well go ahead and hit it now. But anyway, let's jump right in. We're just getting the old fuel tank out, and I wanted to show you guys the old red iron primer. I'm not sure how well you can see over here, but it's there, obviously there above where the tank was, and I'm just amazed at how clean the underside of this car is back here. Even the spare tire carrier is not rusted out. Quite amazing. Well, with some finagling and a lot of hope and dreams, and hopefully not a crimped line, I believe we've got our brake line fitting free from our steel line and our rubber line. It's crazy to think about how this car is 75 years old, but was only on the road for about 25, and all the thick layered on dirt on the fuel tank. But that's because these cars back in those days were driven on dirt roads. I mean, you didn't have the interstate system and the highways. Oh, do y'all remember that joke I just told like 3 seconds ago? Yeah, guess what? I lied. I broke the line. Okay, well, that looks like a fun one to replace all the way up the frame. I know you guys can't see, but it runs the whole length of the frame. So that's gonna be fun. Luckily I come prepared for this kind of thing, so let's make a new line and finish up these rear brakes. Y'all, check out this umbrella. This thing is like retro. I've never seen a wood. That is kind of crazy, but I don't really need that, so sadly we're gonna toss it. Nice. Our rubber floor mat has turned into something more like plastic. Okay, I hear y'all in the comments. I won't throw away the cool old umbrella. Thanks for making me keep it. While we're under here, we'll go ahead and replace the rear shocks on each side. Well, after just a little beating and banging, we got the bottom side of the shock off. And there we go. I'm actually not surprised that these do nothing. So it's good that we're replacing them with some brand new ones. Okay, I've got my new shock here. Let's get it installed in the car. Out here working on taking the front suspension apart so that we can rebuild it. And I happen to notice on the frame, after I pressure washed it, still has the marking. I think that's RH for right hand frame rail from where they built this frame. The amount of crap buildup, everything else, dirt and grime and all of that on this frame and all the suspension stuff is unbelievable. This is after pressure washing it, and y'all, this stuff is just like stuck onto the frame. I have my scraper here. I just chisel away at it. It's near impossible to get off, and it's on everything, but we're gonna get these brakes disassembled and get to working on pulling the suspension off. Since we are swapping to a T5, we have to change out our old stock flathead pilot bushing for this roller bearing that is sized for the flathead flywheel and our T5 input shaft. So let's get this old one pulled out and the new one in. It's already coming out. I don't know if you guys can see it, but pull this thing the rest of the way out. I went ahead and did the little bit of redneck flywheel resurfacing. I know this is making this look like crap, but all I did was basically knock the glaze off, and same with our pressure plate here, just had a little bit of a glaze, not really burnt up. But we've got our old, I believe 10 spline clutch disc here, and our new 26 spline clutch disc. So that new bearing is installed. We're getting ready to slap all three of these components together and check our throwout bearing clearance. We got the driver's side off of the car without dying. No, but seriously, working on pulling this driver's side lower control arm and suspension assembly off, and I was actually able to drop this with the jack and not die. Well, we got our driver's side fully torn apart here. As you can see, we have a huge mess on the floor. We have parts laying everywhere. We have nothing on the frame on this side. And our passenger side is ready to pull the suspension. So we're gonna start pulling this passenger side suspension and everything off. We're gonna get it cooking in the water barrel outside. We got a little burner going under that with some super clean and some water in there. And that's going to help break down just the years and years of grime and everything. So we're going to get the passenger side, bust it apart in the barrel with the others, and we'll cook those, get those cleaned up, and then we'll be able to rebuild everything and throw it back on the car. I probably searched for like, I don't know, 3 hours straight trying to figure out how I was going to make my throwout bearing from the flathead fit our new S10 T5 transmission, because I bought the Speedway adapter, but it doesn't fit the old transmission, and it doesn't fit the new transmission, and it doesn't fit our old throwout bearing. So I actually ordered some bronze bushings from the internet. You can get literally anything you want, apparently, on the internet, because I found these 1 3/8 ID bronze and brass bushings. You'll see why I'm saying bronze, because the one that was installed in here. But anyway, what I did, I went to a local machine shop, tool and die shop, and I had them turn this oil impregnated bronze down externally so that it would press fit into our throwout bearing. And now our throwout bearing will slide onto our T5 input sleeve. If I get it lined up right, I might have to clean this up just a tad, because I'm sure the guy pressed this in and that probably had an effect on the inside diameter. So anyway, but the point is, I got them to install this sleeve. It should have the correct inside diameter as the bearing collar on our T5. So hopefully this is the missing link that we needed in order to be able to put this S10, or what we believe may even be a Camaro V6 T5, with an S10 tail shaft, with our flathead bell housing, our flathead throwout bearing, and our clutch disc that we ordered from Speedway Motors. So anyway, long-winded, but just wanted you guys to see how we ended up having to adapt our transmission, because the parts that we thought we needed ordered from Speedway just didn't work out. Still out here with our parts and our cauldron here. Sun got dark, so we got our work light going here, but we're getting them scrubbed and washed and hopefully all this crap off of them. Okay, I've got my driver's side spindle up here on the vise. Finally got our kingpin retaining pin knocked out, and we got our dust cap removed. Ended up having to poke a hole in it, but we got a new kit anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and finish knocking this kingpin out of our spindle. We already got it going there. Just like that, our kingpin's out, and now we can knock out these old bushings, upper and lower, and we'll get the new ones in. I just finished reaming the kingpin bushings in the driver's side spindle, and if you've never done this before, you really need to consider doing it yourself before you jump in, because I had to order this special tool with it's a hand reamer, adjustable hand reamer with a long pilot, because if you don't get these two perfectly aligned, you're in for a bad day, because as you might be able to see here, I've already actually wasted one set of bushings because I'm ignorant and I just bought a junky regular reamer and learned about a $70 lesson. But check this out, got the driver's side done. This pin slides in with a nice fit there, as you can see, and goes right into the bottom one, and that sucker is very, very nice. It's not tight, but it's, you know, it's in there and it doesn't have any play. So just a quick update on this. We're going to jump over and do the passenger side spindle. Go ahead and grab that, take it to the bench, and we'll press in some bushings and do the same process. We got our passenger side just about finished. Kingpin is in along with those bushings we reamed. We got our pin pressed in here to hold this all together. We got her shimmed up per the spec so that we don't have any play on this. The last thing I got to do is put these little weather caps in here. I think they go like this. So gonna work on that, and then this one will be complete. We got our driver's side done. It's actually upside down right now, but the point is it's in. We got the dust caps in, got her preliminarily greased. Everything seems to be real good and tight, but not too much such that, you know, it can't be steered. It's actually pretty much perfect. So now I've got to move on to tackling the reinstallation of all these parts, as well as our springs, which kind of scare me because they're sketchy, but regardless, we're going to go ahead and grab this spindle and get to putting back our suspension so that we can get the brakes on this thing and be just that much closer to taking this thing and driving it down the road. Okay, so we've got our GM, what we think is our GM T5, because it actually has a Ford pattern with a 26 spline 1 1/8 input. So again, we think this is a GM either S10, late S10 or Camaro V6 T5 middle section. We know we have an S10 tail housing. We have our flathead bell housing here with our adapter plate in the middle. And what we're trying to do is get our original throwout bearing with our new bronze shim or bushing in there. We got that new bronze bushing in here, and we're trying to make sure that this is going to slide smoothly up and down on the input collar, and as you can see, we're sticking right there. So we've got some work to do to get this thing to slide back and forth, but that's our next step to make all this work. We had the problem with our throwout bearing not fitting on the input shaft on our transmission. I was trying to sand our little bronze bushing here to try to get it oversized a little bit on the ID so that it would slip over, and I'm just struggling trying to get enough material removed. So I made this little jig here so I can rotate. So now I can rotate my throwout bearing and hold my sandpaper inside and take off even amount of material. So basically I just kind of made myself a little lathe jig here because I was really struggling on getting those two parts to fit together. Just like that, we've got a nice smooth action on our throwout bearing. And our clutch fork and everything's fitting nicely in where it belongs. So I think we can call this part ready to go. All right, y'all, so I got a little ahead of myself over the last couple of days. I went ahead and installed the front suspension and disc brake kit on both passenger and driver's side. It's probably something you guys have seen before anyway. I didn't really feel like filming it. And then here under the car, we got our, sorry, move my finger there. We got our transmission mount finished up. We got it bolted to the back of the transmission. I went ahead and measured for our new drive shaft, so that's gonna be ready. We got our new master cylinder bracket welded on to the cross member, ready to be installed. I've actually got the master cylinder right here on the bench getting ready to bleed. So we're gonna fill this thing up and bleed it and then throw it on. I'll give you guys a little look under the car here and hopefully you can see, but on these old Fords, the master cylinder is actually underneath the driver floorboard. It originally would be in front of this, if you can picture where I'm pointing, up there. But anyway, we've got our dual reservoir master cylinder mounted here on the transmission mount, and we need to start running these brake lines here to the front of the car and to the back of the car. As you can see, I'm laying under the car right now, but we got to make our lines go back there, and we're going to start with the one for the rear brakes, which is conveniently the one that's at the rear of the master cylinder. All right, y'all, quick update. I'm under the car here and been working on the rear side. So here we go, out of our master cylinder around to our proportioning valve. And then basically this is a check valve for the rear brakes because of course our master cylinder is below the cross member. So anyway, we basically followed the factory line location up over that brace and over the shock mount to our brand new rubber line, and then down with a fresh crush washer on the rear axle. And I'm taking a chance and hoping that the rear lines are good. Hopefully they're not rusty. While I'm at it, I'm gonna go ahead and pop open our new fuel pump unit that will go in this area right here. At least we hope it will. Now I've got my fuel pump hanger and basket assembly ready to go. We've got our gasket laid here, a layer of fuel rated gasket sealer on the bottom, and then of course the gasket and the sealer on the top. Our sending unit there, and now we're going to go ahead and drop the module into the tank and get everything lined up and tightened down. All right, y'all, we went ahead and got that new fuel tank installed. As you can see back there, we got our new lines. If you just trust me on this, they run up and kind of run along the side of the frame here, all the way up to the front. So that's all in place and good to go. And here under the hood, we have our regulator that is already plumbed up with that supply and return line running over to the engine. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for the fuel system. And then we're going to go ahead and call that a wrap on today's video, because we got a lot of work done on this car. We still have a lot more to do. So in the next video, we're going to be wiring and installing our custom EFI on the car. So stick around for that. If you don't mind, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for more of these videos and videos that we have coming on other projects. But I really appreciate everyone's support, and I hope you all have a good day.